What's up, guys? This is out here for the Team Fantasy Football League Commissioner Cody. We're here with your Week 12 recap, your power rankings, and this is the last week of the regular season for us. So I'll be going through some playoff scenarios as well. Some people are eliminated, some are not. There is a battle going on as well, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have any notes, but I did take a look, so we'll get to that in a moment. As always, I'm going to try to get through not as always, but I'm going to try to get through the matchups of last week a little bit quicker, but we'll see how we do this. As always, starting with our defending champion, Scott, Eric, playing Scott. Eric puts up 193.71 to Scott's 157.5. Eric's top performers, Tyreek Hill. Here we go. Tyreek Hill, 61.9 points. A.J. Brown, 28.8 points. And Wayne Gallman, 24.1 points. Scott, his top three performers, James Robinson, 32.4. Austin Eckler, 27.4. And Matt Ryan with 20.35. Initial thoughts is if Tyreek Hill plays has a normal game, then Scott probably has a W. He's going 7-5 instead of 6-6. That's always what ifs. That didn't happen. Tyreek Hill blows up for almost 62 points, which is absurd. Breaking records in the first quarter, 200 yards, and all this other fun stuff. Absurd game, but Eric gets the dub, a solid 193-point dub. It's nice to see for Scott. Eckler's back and healthy for him. It does not look good for Zeke. I don't know what's going on over there, but he needs to figure his shit out. I know their offensive line is extremely hurt. They're going through injuries. I get it, but it's just unfortunate, especially for Scott because his team is just really just trying to get to the playoffs at this point. Hopefully, get CMC here back here pretty soon. Me and Willard eliminated from our 14-team league with Mike Davis. Have at it. Let's get some CMC. I know Will has him in a league I think he has him in one of the leagues. I know you have him in a couple leagues. Like, go CMC. Take it. Run with CMC. I don't care anymore. Hopefully you can get healthy just in time for the playoffs as well. I know they have a bye, so hopefully he comes back. Congratulations, Eric. You improved to 5-7. Well, Scott, like I said, you fall to 6-6. Moving on to Phil, number 1, versus Craig, number 12. The matchup ends up the way that the seeding and the power rankings for the week ends up. Phil puts up a league high 232.5, a quiet league high 232.5 points, I might add, to Craig's 136.4. Phil's top performers: Patrick Mahomes 48.98, Aaron Rodgers 38.84, David Montgomery 29.05. For Craig, his top performers, the Steelers defense, yet again, 21.78 points. Young Hoku, 21 points. And Robbie Anderson with 20.4. My initial reactions for this matchup are, this is pretty much how I thought it'd play out. Phil's team is just that good, so you guys better watch the fuck out, and hope that hope he doesn't stay healthy, because he's going to run through everybody just as he did for the season. Oh, here we go. Try to get through it before all the yawns. With the way your team's playing, Craig, you should look into keeping your kicker and your defense this year, and starting the rest from scratch. Just because you just aren't getting if you had your players show up the way your defense and your kicker has, you'd be a top 4 team. Just like having a solid defensive kicker like that every single week. I feel like every week I'm telling you those two are in your top 3 performers. You would be unstoppable. Like, it's like having a tight end in a normal standard league where it's hard to come by. Like having Travis Kelce in a 10-team league that requires you to have a tight end. That's what this is. Yeah, shout out to Phil. His team is very scary and I don't want to play him. I'm glad I beat him in week 1. Haha. One of those 2 losses. Phil improves to 10-2 while Craig falls to 3-9, unfortunately eliminating him from the playoffs. Moving on to number 11 Dylan versus number 2 Will with an upset. We have Dylan with 119.04 points to Will's 110.33. What a shellacking. Not really. What a disappointment. We'll get to that. Mike Lennon for Dylan, his top 3 performers, 26.5 points. Carson Wentz with 21.55, and Duke Johnson with 19.25 points. Is that Duke Johnson or is that Deontay? It's Duke. Okay, that's what I thought. He has Deontay too, I think. Will's top performers were 18.1 from Devontae Adams, 17.36 from the Saints defense, and 16.2 for Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin. The reason that Will's team disappointed like that is because half of it is like unavailable. So, let's not take anything away from Dylan's playoff chances, okay? Because they're there. Actually, we'll get into it. But he does come up with the upset, which is pretty cool. I like to see upsets in this. I wish it was a little higher scoring for both teams, but hey, the cookie crumbles however it wants to. Shout out to Dylan for getting an upset, and a big upset. Will was number 2 in the power rankings. Who would have saw it coming? I wonder when his team will be fully healthy again. Falling into the Scott category. I don't know what to do with his team either. But we'll get there. Shout out to Dylan. As I said, he improved. Excuse me. He improves to 4-8. Will falls to 7-5. Moving on, we have number 10 Kyle versus number 8 Brandwagon. Kyle puts a shallopin on Brandwagon, 188.84 to 118.5 for Brandwagon. Kyle's top performers: Will Fuller, 37.1, Nick Chubb, 32.35, Kenyon Drake with 29.8. Brandwagon, his top performers: Big Ben, 22.59, Nyheim Hines with 20, and Mike Davis with 14.65. What do I make of this matchup? I think that Kyle's team is finally coming together at the right time, minus Will Fuller going forward because he's, is out for the rest of the season. So we'll see where So we'll see where Kyle replaces him with. It does make Scott's team a little bit more interesting now that he has. Never mind. I get my receivers mixed up. But yeah, I worry about that. But I like what Kyle's team's turning into. And he has a little bit of depth. I still am not a fan of Baker, but it doesn't matter what I think about Baker because he puts up enough points, even though he wasn't a top 3 performer. Brandwagon, just a disappointing end to your season or your playoff hopes. I know. I liked your team a lot better than 3-9. Like those weeks where you were up there, you should have gotten. You should be 5-7. Like at least. You know what I mean? Better luck next year, and shout out to Kyle for getting a dub. Moving on to our final matchup of the week. I believe this was matchup of the week. One of them. I can't remember what I said. I haven't. Obviously, I'm not prepared. It's fine. Matchup of the week, though. Cody, number 6, versus Liam, number 5. Cody wins 183.44 to Liam's 170.24. Cody's top performers: Antonio Gibson, 42.6. Tom Brady, 33.25. Russell Wilson, 20.7. For Liam, Derrick Henry, 46.25. DK Metcalf, 28.7. And Ryan Tannehill, 24.74. What do I take about this matchup? I'm just happy that I hit 180. As I've said for the last 5 weeks, that I haven't hit more than 170 something. I did leave a bunch of points on my bench, but that's fine. It happens. I have a lot of decisions that I just don't think I'm gonna make. You got to keep the guys in there. That's why I drafted them. That's how I feel about them. But like I said, I'm happy that I hit 180. I would like to hit next week, 185 to 190, just to keep progressing. So that way in the playoffs, I can hit the 200, 250s, when I need to win. Because when Scott's healthy, when Phil's doing right now, what Will's healthy, Greg's killing it. Eric's hit or miss, and you never know when he's going to pop out for 230. Among other playoff players as well. But I'm just hoping to get there, and we're taking this. Let's go. My floor recently in the last 6 weeks has been 170. Okay, let's go. I'll take that all day. I just would like to overachieve now. It's time to overachieve, fellas. Let's do this. We can do it. But yeah, so shout out to everybody this week. Now, the power rankings, as I said, they were not easy. There was a lot of movement. It's tough at this point. I don't want to go every week like who has the most points every week too. So I'm like I said, I'm working on an idea. I haven't really started it, like doing it on Excel, but I've been taking notes of different ways of trying to make an actual power rankings. So I don't have to make these decisions, and it could just be something that makes sense for everybody, But working on that, so we have plenty of time to figure that out. Power rankings for this week. We'll start off with number 12 is Craig. Just as, not much to really say. Put up 136 points this week. Not making the playoffs, I don't know. Maybe I'll flip-flop the bottom depending on the weeks. We'll see. Number 11, Brandwagon, also eliminated from the playoffs. Put up 118 points. I guess he could have went to 12. I don't know. The bottom I don't think really matters as far as the power rankings. Unless you guys really care that much, I'll pay more attention, and I apologize for shorting you guys of your experience here in the Out Here for the Team Fantasy Football League 2020. Number 10, Dylan, you got the upset of the week. I know that it was an upset, but I do worry about your team putting up 119 points. Let's not forget 119 points. Remember, I wasn't giving Kyle a lot of love, and I was getting a lot of flack for that. So, I got you up one. Shout out to Dylan for getting that dub. That upset. That's big. Underdog story of the year. Brandon's basketball league has awards at the end of the season. We should do that. I'm gonna mention that in the messenger. I like a lot of the ideas. Shout out to Brandon too about Brandwagon, his own basketball league. Just shout out to him. A lot of the ideas that I have for this league come from him, so I just wanted to give him some love. Shout out to you, my brother. Thank you for the advice and letting me run with it and change it and do some things like that. So I appreciate you for that. Moving on to number 9, Scott. I don't know like I said, I don't know what to do with his team. They're very hurt, but they still put up 157 points. So I just left them at 9. I worry until they get healthy, but I think they'll be all right long term. Number 8, Hobert. After that win streak, you put up 124 points. So you fell down to 8. Kyle, number 7. We have you at 7 because you put up 188 points. That's dope. I think that was your season high. I can check that. But assuming that was your season high, or even, close to it, I still worry a little bit about your team. And, the teams ahead of you, I still think, have a better chance of making a run. But I like the progress. I like where we're going with this. 188 is indeed the most points you scored this week, or this season. So let's see more of that, and then we can get you up in there. But I'm pushing you up there. I'm trying. I'm really trying. I'm talking myself into you. I'm talking myself up some Kyle. I know you're struggling over there with your Eagles, but I'm talking myself up some Kyle. 6, we have Will. Will's team is solid. He dealt with a lot of issues this week. We'll see if they're more long-term issues with some of the injuries and things like that. So, we'll get there as far as how we're going to grade him in the future. But I didn't want to put him too far down because I know he put up 110 points. But I just think it was an anomaly with the injuries and what he's overcome with his injuries and stuff too. So, but it does speak to his depth. So we'll keep an eye on that. And he might be getting hurt in the power rankings going forward if he has, if this continues and there isn't a lot of depth there. So we'll see. That's an interesting team to watch. When he's healthy, he's the team to watch. As he's proven, he put up the most points in a week. I believe in history of this league, so shout out to Will for that. Number 5, Liam, he gets a loss, but his team's solid, and he put up a solid 170. Even with some stuff going on in his roster, I believe as well. I did fortunately have a good week to play him, so I don't want to hurt him too much. And he put up a solid 170. He still gave me a little bit of nervousness here at the end of that Steeler game. So I didn't feel like I needed to hurt him in the power rankings this week. We'll see how he fares next week. Moving on to number 4, Eric. He puts up 193 points. I wouldn't bank on that. 62 points from Tyreek Hill every week. Your team is getting hot again. I worry about it. And, I threw you up in number 4. I don't know. Number 3, we have Cody. Finally breaks the 180 barrier. I just have me up there for consistency. I mean, the last 6 weeks I put up a solid 170. I mean, if you guys do better than that, then, by all means. But this week, I believe majority of you didn't even hit that. So, as long as I'm hitting that, I should be up there. I don't care. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of you. You know what I mean? So, model consistency. Love it or hate it. I'm in there like swimwear. Number 2, Greg. Watch out. They're hot as fuck right now. Hitting the 206 mark this week. Like I said, guys, watch out. Greg's on a hot streak, and they're coming for my division. We'll get into the division in a second because I have a lot to say. But they're hot, and they're a team that I don't want to play right now either. My model consistency would not fare against them very well. Moving on to our number 1, I think it goes without saying that Phil is unstoppable at this moment. Even Greg couldn't stop him, obviously. Phil puts up a solid 232. He has 2 unstoppable quarterbacks. His depth is crazy. His team is crazy. I don't know what else to say other than I hate you, Phil, but I love you as my buddy, as my brother. So I'm happy to have you at number 1. If I'm not mistaken, you have won my league before, and there is a surprise in store for you guys. It won't be until after the championship and everything. But there will be a surprise. So I'm excited for it. I just decided that I was going to do it, and we'll leave it at that. But I do have a surprise for you guys. And so let's get into the standings, the playoffs. I know that if you as non-league members watching this, if you are watching this, there's four different divisions. I'm a sneakerhead, so I chose shoes as my division names. You got Nike, Jordan, Adidas, and Reebok. I'm changing next year. Reebok will be Puma. So just want to make that clear. They've taken over Reebok by far. So in the Nike division, we have 4 assumed playoff teams. Liam, who's 8-4, Hobert, who's 7-5, and Scott, who's 6-6. So Scott obviously is not going to win the division. There's only one more week for us, and then the playoffs start. Week 13 is our final regular season matchup. So if Hobert wins and Liam loses, Liam has 21, Hobert has 19. So So Liam pretty much has clinched his division, barring scoring 0 points and Hobert scoring 300. So shout out to Liam. You won your division. You own Nike. You will stay in the Nike division next year. Woo! Shout out Liam. I know you don't watch this. I just know you don't. You know, on the messenger, you don't watch this, but shout out to you. Will, you clinched your division. Both of your division members, Brandwagon and Craig, are out of the playoffs. So shout out to you. You went 7-5, or you are 7-5. Brandwagon 3-9, and Craig 3-9 as well. Shout out to Will. Woo! Woo! Shout out to Will. You won your division. You will be staying in the Jordan division next year. Moving on to the Adidas division, we have Phil, who's 10-2, Kyle 5-7, and Dylan 4-8. Phil, you have won your division by a landslide. Shout out to Phil. Woo! Shout out to Phil. And I think, you clinched the first seed as well. So shout out to you as well. Not that it matters necessarily in this league. We'll get there. And then the Reebok division, Cody 7-5, Greg 7-5, and Eric 5-7. So obviously Eric cannot win this division, so he will be bounced out of the division next year. But Cody has so the tiebreaker would be points. Okay, so this is just some really juicy stuff. So Cody has 2,084.8 points this full season. Greg has 2,063.78 points through the whole season. That's crazy. I never in a million years thought that I would be worried about week 13 and beating Greg and getting this division. Because even if I do win, I have to outscore Greg or score less, but no less than 20. You know what I mean? Like so if they score 100 or 200 points, I have to score 180, like, in order to win the division. Like, just my luck, those fuckers. They got hot at the right time. They could take over this division. So we'll see what happens there. Very interesting stuff. Now, as far as the playoff race, I mentioned some stuff about Dylan. As I said, we'll get into Dylan in a second. As I said, Phil clinches the first seed. The second seed, Liam, if he wins his matchup, he clinches his second seed. There is no buys. There are 8 teams that make the playoffs in my league. Why, you might ask? This has been a reoccurring thing in the league. So not a thing. It's not a thing. We're over that. We're past it. But there are 8 teams in the playoffs. I say 8 because sorry, I had a brain fart. 8 teams because I like to keep things interesting throughout the whole season. I understand that it's more than half my league. I get it. But I'm not a fan of the bye. It's just me personally. That's fine. Like I said, I like to keep people in it. And, last year I slid in 6-7 and I lost in the championship. Now, obviously it benefited me, but for somebody like Eric, who is 5-7 right now, for somebody who's like Kyle, who's 5-7 and who somehow can make the playoffs, you know what I mean? Dylan is technically in the playoff race. However, his point total is so low that he wouldn't win any tiebreaker. So unfortunately, Dylan, I would say that you're eliminated from the playoffs as well, unless they both score 0 and you score like 500. So maybe not 500, but a bunch. So between Eric and Kyle, they're both 5-7. So let's see here. There's so many different things that could go on here. So also keep in mind Scott is 6-6. I say that because if Scott, let's look at this upcoming week. I'm not gonna do matchups or anything like that how I normally would, but see, I play Scott, Eric plays Hobert, and Kyle plays Craig. Wow, Kyle, you just have a sweetheart schedule the rest of the way. Wow. So if Scott wins, he's obviously in. If Scott loses, though, because of tiebreak, let's see. Scott has a lot of points. Eric, if Eric outscores him by 90 points, Eric could overtake that. Kyle is okay. So the only way Kyle makes the playoffs is if he wins and Eric loses. That's the only way, because there's no way he's going to catch Eric in tie-breaking points or Scott in tie-breaking points. So he needs to win and Eric lose. Eric just needs to win and he's in, obviously, as I just mentioned. But he could slide up into that 7 seed if he outscores Scott. If he wins and Scott loses, and he outscores Scott by almost 100 points. So if Eric goes off for 230 points and Scott puts up an abysmal 135, Eric could easily slide in that 7 seed. Ohftt is pretty much going to stay in that 6 seed. The only thing that's really going to flip-flop is between me and Greg. Because I'm in 4. Because all the division leaders get the top 4 seeds. And Greg's in 5 anyway. So the only thing, like, we're playing each other no matter what. The only thing that would change that is if Liam loses and I win, but I win by 50 points. Like, compared to, like, if I outscore Liam by 50 points. Does that make sense? Because Liam has 2133 and I have 2084. So if I outscore him and I win and he loses, then I could slide up in that 3 spot. Because I'm not going to catch Will. Will would just move up. But that's, So the playoff race right now is Phil at 1. Let me pull up the bracket here. I don't know if any of this is making sense, but I think it is. So Phil clinches the 1st seed, who is potentially playing Eric or Kyle. Liam is potentially the 2nd seed, probably playing Scott. Not probably, potentially playing Scott. Will is a potential 3rd seed, who's playing Ohftt, potentially the 6th seed. Or no, like I said, Ohftt's locked in there. So this matchup is pretty set as well. So 1 and 8 and 3 and 6 are for the most part set, unless that's not true. 8 is not set. Disregard that. And hopefully next year I hope to know how to edit videos and make these a lot better. And then, 4 and 5, this matchup is set. It's just a matter of who's which seed, and it doesn't matter which seed is which at this point with 4 and 5. But yeah, so that's our playoff picture. And I just want to thank our 3 teams that are completely eliminated from the playoffs. Dylan, Craig, and Brandwagon. Just want to thank you guys for participating again this year. I know this year has been wild with our COVID stuff, and I appreciate you guys' patience and contributing, and I just hope to get you guys more involved next year and have a plan for you guys to still be fighting to keep playing. I'll have something together so that it'll be worth still playing, one way or the other. Kyle, you still have a shot. So I don't know who I'm pulling for. I don't pull for anybody. I'm the commissioner who is unbiased. So I hope for everybody to win and be happy, but I know that's not possible. So the remaining 9 of you, good luck this week. And I'll do the Week 13 preview on Saturday because I'm off. Adios, amigos. I hope everybody's safe, healthy, happy, and everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Love you guys. Peace out.